Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Breakfast Daily, and we're still having conversations. So now I'm going to be having a conversation with two beautiful ladies, and of course, they are all film directors. So they are female film directors. So we're going to be talking about being female film directors in the male-dominated industry. All right, so here in the studio with me, we have Claudia Owusu, who is a director, and also Ife Oluwamuyide, who is also a director. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's good.
All right, so Claudia, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, we all know that the film industry is a male-dominated industry. What does it feel to be a female, and especially not an actress, a director in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, Aoife and I were both fairly new in the industry. And so I think part of being a female director is making sure that doors are open for those around you. We really love networking horizontally. So what other female directors do we know of? How can we collaborate? How can we share any opportunities that we come across? Especially like when you're looking for funding for production, for example. We've had experience with applying for grants and things of that nature. So we are always trying to share grants, trying to share even our own drafts of pitches that we've written so that other people, namely women filmmakers who would otherwise not have that experience, will also get to share in that with us.
Right. So Ife, how long have you guys been doing this for?
Yeah, so we started collaborating back in 2019.
All right, so you collaborate together?
Yes, we collaborate together. And essentially, we were both entirely new to film, but we knew we had an interest, and we thought it would be beneficial to embark on the journey together rather than alone. Because like you said, it's a difficult industry, especially as women. So to have each other as a support system is very helpful.
All right, so we've been talking about collaboration for the longest, and some people don't really understand it. So what impact has collaboration, brought to your works?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think for us, as Aoife said, there is just that feeling of having someone else next to you, someone that you can trust and rely on. And I think as much as like we're both filmmakers, we also come from different parts of the arts. So just really having our different skill sets come together so that we're kind of covering all of our bases, if you will.
So now, what unique experiences or unique perspective have you guys, brought to this industry? What do you think you have, added to this industry?
I mean, I think just our story and how we're able to cultivate a story. A lot of people, as we're doing this Ampe tour, have been like, why did you focus on Ampe of all games? Like, that is so strange. And for us, it's like, no, like, it made sense. It's a place where women come to gather, Black women specifically. And we wanted to see how Black women create space for each other. And how do we also, like, grow into ourselves as we get older.
All right, so now you just talked about, a space for Black women in the industry. So in your opinion, how does the representation of women in film contribute to the overall diversity and inclusivity in the industry?
That's a great question. I think right now we're in a renaissance of sorts for Black people within the industry, especially Black Africans of the diaspora. It's our time to really tell our story and add a new perspective to the myriad of stories that have been told in Hollywood. It has always been very exclusive in that sense, but now it's time for us to like take our claim and really show what we have.
All right, so Claudia, how important is storytelling to your job? Because you talked about Ampe, which we're going to talk about later. Ampe is actually their debut film, which we're going to talk about later. So how important are stories to your job?
I think stories are very important. We're definitely interested in remembrance, right? Like if we remember correctly, then we are able to see what the future holds. And so I think with storytelling, we both really have a strong sense of writing, and I think a lot of directors aren't writers first. So just really having that ability as a writer to then be a director helps you just really specify the story that you want to tell. I think the more specific a story is, the better. In fact, with Ampe, because of how nuanced and specific it is, we've actually gotten a lot of responses from other Black women all over the world, kind of creating their own connections to the game and other games that they played as girls and women. And so, yeah, I feel like storytelling is something that we all need to hold on to and practice in different art forms.
All right, so now back to film. First question, do you guys live here?
No, but we go back and forth. Yeah.
So you go back and forth. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the film industry here?
I think it's promising, honestly. I mean, we haven't been able to experience it fully. I know there are some obstacles, but I think it's interesting that despite that, the creatives here, they're going to make work regardless. They're going to unleash their talent regardless. And so I just hope that people in the US, people in the Western world in general, are able to see what's going on here in Accra and give all those people opportunities that they deserve.
Right, right. So talking about obstacles, Claudia, what are some of the obstacles and challenges that you faced, especially shooting your debut movie?
Yeah, I think one of the main obstacles we faced just had to do with financing. So initially at the start, we received a small grant from a local community organization in Columbus where we both are based. And just from then on, we started an Indiegogo, which is the fundraiser. So we really got an overwhelming amount of support from our community members. So everyday people were just investing in our film with their own personal money. And I think that has to say something about just the reach of community locally as well. I feel like we got that first investment even before, say, like other platforms started investing in us with time. So I feel like definitely financing, and then along the lines, just the story development, really thinking about the weight of the story, how we wanted to tell it, who we wanted to be a part of it, and just like the kind of age range that we wanted to cover within the length of the film. So just from pre-production, production to post-production.
Right. Okay, so that's very interesting. Right now, we've been talking about Ampe, right? And I really can't wait to watch it. I know it's not out. Is it out?
Not
exactly.
not to the public.
So I know it's not out to the public, but all the questions I've been asking you, you've been really sharing your experiences on how it was for you to put that film together. But now it's time for us to check out the trailer of Ampe, and then we'll be back to talk about everything that went into putting this film together. Enjoy.
Ampe is a traditional Ghanaian game where you basically jump and throw your legs.
I just saw girls playing it, doing lunches and like doing breaks in school.
Sometimes you can start from one place, but by the time you realize you are somewhere else.
It makes you feel powerful.
Powerful.
Like you don't have a care in the world.
We women don't have particular games assigned to us or adopted by us. But Ampe is a game that as soon as you mention it everywhere, they know it's a female game.
Ampe is a traditional Ghanaian game where you basically jump and throw your legs.
I just saw girls playing it, doing lunches and like doing breaks in school.
Sometimes you can start from one place, but by the time you realize you are somewhere else.
It makes you feel powerful.
Powerful.
Like you don't have a care in the world.
We women don't have particular games assigned to us.
Interesting, interesting. It takes me back to my childhood. Now I'm asking myself, do people still play Ampe? I think we should bring it back. All right, so why Ampe? Why a film around the game Ampe?
Yeah, I think it was a personal interest. So it was around the summer of 2020, and we were having a surprise birthday party / picnic in the park for Claudia. And at the end of the celebration, the girls started playing Ampe there, and everybody was so free. And once reserved girls in their everyday life who are very quiet, who are very polite, were just unleashing a new type of emotion, anger, competitiveness, and we were both really interested in that. And I think it was a few days later, Claudia called me and she was like, Aoife, I've been thinking about doing something on Ampe. And I was like, I was thinking the same thing. And so ever since then, we decided to embark on that journey together.
And you shot it in 2 cities?
Yes. Accra, Ghana, and Columbus, Ohio.
And how was it shooting it in two cities? And why did you even decide to shoot it in two cities?
So Columbus and Accra are sister cities. And there are over 10,000 Ghanaian immigrants in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
So we thought about the friends that we played Ampe with that summer, as Aoife shared. And then we also thought about the friends that we had in Accra as well, and just thinking about Ampe as, you know, a coming of age ritual. So if we played it, if it influenced us, then surely there were girls in Ghana that it also influenced as well. So we really wanted to just think about that cross, you know, global reach, essentially. Yeah. And so as far as what it was like, I mean, we shot in Accra first. And so Accra, we had a more, I guess, heavy set crew of producers, cinematographers, second camera. And then in Columbus, it was a smaller crew. You know, and like we had to kind of wear a lot of hats. So I think just shooting in Accra first really just set the tone for what Columbus could be like for us.
So what's the future for Ampe? What do you aim to achieve from this film?
Yeah, I think we've been talking a lot about, for overall, we have two goals. Our first goal is that we want to encourage other Black women across the diaspora to pick up a camera and document their own stories, because we believe we're the only ones that can do justice to the stories ourselves. And secondly, we just want to think about archiving histories that would otherwise be lost without it. Because Ampe, as we were doing research, there was absolutely nothing on the game of Ampe in its historical context. We had about 2 touchstones that we could reference, but aside from that, there was really nothing. So we want to archive and keep a history of our cultures before they're lost forever.
Right. So if quick one, obviously with your name, I could tell that you're Nigerian, right? And obviously in Nigeria, we also have a similar game called 10-10.
Yes.
Yeah. So did you ever think that, oh, this is 10-10, or why can't we call it 10-10? Why we should call it Ampe?
Honestly, I didn't even know about 10-10 until until I spoke with my mom, and she shared with me how she played it when she was younger. I just think it's interesting that Ampe is played across all of West Africa by different names, different games, and I find it like really gratifying that young girls all over the diaspora make space for themselves and have time to be free and play and just like encourage each other in games like that.
All right, so right now, is it out? Is it out for the public to consume yet?
No, so it's not out. We are currently just going through festivals. So film festivals all over the US and then also all over Europe as well. We're screening at the Essence Film Festival at the end of the month, and then also screening at Black Star. We'll also be screening at the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival as well. And then we've just been programming local screenings here in Accra. So tomorrow, if you're around, we'll be at the Library of African and the African Diaspora at 12 p.m. and at 5 p.m. as well. So you can swing by and just watch the film with us.
Okay, so tomorrow, 5 p.m.
And 12 p.m.
and 12 p.m. at the
Library of Africa and the African Diaspora.
Okay, so before I let you go, what advice would you give to upcoming young film directors like you, especially females?
I think the first advice that comes to mind is just really building a community. I think often at times when we're coming up, there is this pressure to sort of like find someone or like find a place, and I think those feelings are valid, but a lot of the growth that I've experienced personally has just come from, you know, networking horizontally, as I said before, looking next to me to see, you know, which friends have similar interests as I do, who in my community right now can kind of, you know, give me feedback or something, or like share their ideas with me so that we can just be together to hold each other accountable. So I think really just networking horizontally and seeing who around you can reach is ideal.
All right. Ife?
Yeah, I agree with Claudia. I think community is paramount, but also don't be discouraged. I think if you have a vision and it's very clear, you should execute it. Do everything you possibly can. Believe in yourself first, because nobody else will believe in you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies. It was really interesting talking to you. And more grace to your elbows, because what you're doing is not easy. Thank you so much. All right, viewers, we've been talking to Claudia Owusu and Ife Oluwamuyide, who are both directors of the debut film Ampe. And you can actually try and support them. And I hope that, all upcoming female directors actually took away something from them.